everybody, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a big part of my life, and today we're going to be talking about The Prom. So The Prom is a musical that I watched the trailer for and was not that hopeful for, I've got to be honest. But I watched it and now I'm here to give you my review. So I'm just going to start off by saying I did like this film. I thought it was good, I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? I'm not sure. But nonetheless, I enjoyed it. I've written some notes, so I will be looking at those throughout the video and we shall see what I think. So without further ado, let's get into it. The camera fell, so this is another go. So I'm going to start with talking about the design of just kind of the film itself and what I liked and what I didn't. So I want to start off by saying lighting and cinematography I thought was really nice. The colours were beautiful and the shots, and I think it really set up every scene nicely before you're going into it by these like nice opening shots of where the next scene is going to be set, which I also felt kind of linked to the show, as you would obviously see the set or you see the characters come on stage in most cases. I did like the costume design, particularly with the fancier costumes, so the prom outfits, and in the opening I did like the more casual costumes, particularly for Emma and Alyssa, but I did feel like some of them were maybe a bit extravagant or they didn't really fit like the style of movie that they were going for. It wasn't a lot of the time, but it was really just those four celebrities, so Nicole Kidman, Andrew Reynolds, Meryl Streep and James Corden. I just thought a few of their outfits I was a bit like, not sure if this fits it exactly. One slight thing though with the cinematography and the way it was shot was I felt like a lot of the dance was missed. I felt like they spent more time focusing on their main characters rather than the ensemble. I don't know if I can say ensemble for a film, but we'll say it anyway. Which I kind of felt was sad because obviously in a show you see all the dance that you want to see, whereas I feel like it was kind of missed here. I really liked the beginning of You Happened. I thought it was great in the hallway where we actually got to see these, well, not necessarily ensemble, but these smaller characters really get to shine and show off their dance. Like I felt like in It's Time to Dance, we didn't actually see a whole lot of dancing bar the very last section. Although I did quite like that because I think they took a lot of choreography from the stage show and that's why I quite enjoyed it. But that's kind of all I have to say about like the design and like the technical aspect of the film. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about story. And while I did like the story, and obviously it's taken from the stage show, there were a few small things that made me go like, yeah. I felt like even though it did transfer well stage to screen, the one thing that really I don't think didn't work for this film was how the end of Act 1 for The Prom is versus the end of Act 1 for the film. Now this is going to be kind of spoilery, so you know, if you don't want spoilers you can just skip this bit. But basically, at the end of Act 1 in the stage show, there's been a prom and Emma has not been invited to that prom. She is at the school and they've basically set her up. And in the stage show it works well because that is the end of Act 1. So it means that, oh, this first prom is the end of Act 1, kind of sealing that in its own little bubble so you can move on for Act 2 after you've had the break. Whereas in the film, it feels like an end before an end. Like I remember when that first prom happened, I felt as if I was waiting for the end to come at that point because you feel like the prom should be like the end of the show, which it is because they've come back to it. I just don't think that worked in this case. Like, did I still enjoy it? Yes, but within over an hour left of your film and it feeling like just waiting to end, it makes the whole second act a bit less enjoyable, if that makes sense. I felt like a lot of the characters, particularly the smaller characters, even people like Nicole Kidman's character and Andrew Reynolds' character, I felt like they didn't really have a purpose, particularly with Kevin Jamerlin's character and Nicole Kidman's character. I felt like they had very little impact on the story at all. Even the smaller roles and like people like Trent, like you could take them out and it could very easily be the exact same show, because the fact is the two main celebrities are Meryl Streep and James Corden, because they actually have arcs throughout the show, whereas the others really don't, and so you kind of feel like a lot of the characters are quite surface level, bar the ones that they've really taken a lot of time into. And especially as it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes long, which is a long film, it's kind of disappointing to see how these weren't really developed enough. Like, I enjoyed the characters, but I didn't empathise with them. I didn't really understand them as characters as much as I really should have. But you know, I did like the story, it was nicely executed. What else can I say? Okay, next I'm going to talk about actors, which is probably the thing most people are probably the most interested in. So I'm going to start with Keegan-Michael Key, and for the main reason for that is because he really pleasantly surprised me. I didn't expect to like Keegan-Michael Key. He often plays very much the comedy character, given that he is pretty much a comedy actor. So it was really nice to see him in something a little bit more serious, which did have that comedic aspect, but I felt like it really showed off things that he could do. His voice is lovely. I did not expect that from him at all. And, you know, I really enjoyed his character, and I really enjoyed his arc with Meryl Streep's character. And if you're wondering why I'm like, pretty much most of the time I'm not referring to the characters' names, it's just for people who may not have seen it and don't know the names of the characters. But leading on nicely from that, Meryl Streep, it's Meryl Streep. How much can we complain? She was great. Her voice sounded also great. I think this role really suited her well, although I did feel like it feeded in quite well to her Miranda Priestley, like Devil Wears Prada kind of character, especially in the sadder bits. I felt like there was a lot of similarities there, but you know, I'm not complaining. I thought she was great. What else can I really say? I enjoyed it. She played the very overstated, like exaggerated character in kind of an over-exaggerated way, but not too much that it seemed farcical. So I liked her performance. Next, I'm going to talk about Andrew Reynolds, just because I liked him before it was cool. Everybody loves him now. I'm just saying, Love Thy Neighbour is a bop. I thought he sounded great, although I didn't really like that number for different reasons. If you want me to say, I loved the number and I loved the production value and stuff like that, but I felt like it didn't really have a lot of purpose. Like, it was a very short section. It was kind of like, oh, let's persuade these kids. Oh, they're persuaded, cool, problem solved, which I think is a bit odd. Anyway, Andrew Reynolds, thought he was great. Love how they're getting theatre actors into theatre films, you know. I love Andrew Reynolds, I'm not complaining. I thought he understated his character, but it worked really, really nicely. I really liked his character. I would have loved to have seen more from it. Also, I'm just saying, I think Meryl Streep and Andrew Reynolds have really good on-screen chemistry, not in like a lovey kind of way, but they play really well off of each other, so I did really enjoy that. Yeah, I really liked his character. I enjoyed it. I'm not complaining. Would have liked to see him in it more, but you can't have everything, so. Okay, next we're going to talk about Nicole Kidman. Now, there was nothing wrong with her performance necessarily. I just didn't really like her character. I felt, like I said before, like she was very skippable. Like, she could definitely not be in this film, and I don't think anything would really change. I really just don't think she was developed enough, particularly to be classed as like a main character. Like, we really did not see her, and she really didn't have that much to do in the film, bar the song Zaz. And I thought Zaz was fine, Zaz was okay, but I don't think she really had an impact on me for me to really say that much about her performance. So yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about James Corden. I have a lot of thoughts. American accent? No. Just no. He couldn't hold it, so it just became frustrating and it wasn't even that good. But his character arc I thought was fine. I liked it, although there was a few idiosyncrasies with that, how it was set up by Meryl Streep's character, so I thought that was a bit weird. I actually did really enjoy Barry is Going to Prom and Tonight Belongs to You. I also like that number. Barry Goes to Prom especially, though, I thought that really fitted his character very well. It reminded me of his Tony performance he was hosting. I think you'll know which one I mean if you've seen it. I think my issue was mainly that it felt quite over the top sometimes and a little bit stereotypical, and especially being a straight man, it felt a little bit offensive, but you know, I can't speak for gay men. I'm not a gay man, but I have seen quite a few gay men on the internet talking about it and not liking his performance. I thought he was fine, but I did feel like some of the stuff that he did wasn't exactly right for this role. I also thought that he and Meryl Streep, I just don't think, whether that be the character's fault or the actors just not blending well together on screen, which is weird though, because they had actually been in Into the Woods together as well, which I actually just remember now. Those two characters didn't blend well together, and so it felt very disjointed when the two were having a conversation. But I didn't think his performance was bad. I thought he held it quite well, and he performed. Was he the standout star? No, but did he do his job as a character? Yeah, I think so. Okay, next we're gonna talk about Ariana. Yeah, that is her name. Now, we all stan Ariana, we just have to get that out the way. Like, we had that massive fangirl moment over the bullet thing in Hamilton. Like, we love her, we stan her, she's great. But I really didn't think that she was in it enough. And I know that sounds weird, but I felt like their entire story, despite that being the main driving force, it very much felt like a side plot. Like, the main plot felt like it was these 4 celebrities trying to inspire Emma to do cool things. Like, this romantic plot felt very much like a side plot rather than the main plot, which is what it should have been, really. I liked it, and I enjoyed seeing her in something more mainstream. I will be excited to see her in West Side Story when that comes out. But she felt very much like a secondary character, which she shouldn't have. And even if she is in the show, she shouldn't be, if that makes sense. And that's an issue for both the show, I think, and the musical, so people can't come for me for that, because it's not the film's fault, it's just the way that it's written. But I enjoyed it, I enjoyed the performance, love her voice, who doesn't? Okay, and I was going to talk about Kerry Washington just for the end. Just a very quick interlude before I talk about Joelle Pineau. I thought she was fine. Again, I don't think she was developed enough. I didn't actually hate her, to be honest. I thought she was okay, and her turnaround felt very quick. But, you know, that's kind of all I can say on Kerry Washington's character. She was a very stereotypical character to begin with, so, you know, yeah. But let's talk about Joelle Pineau. So, I didn't like her first 30 minutes. I've just got to put that out there. I know people can turn characters in different ways, but I thought in the first 30 minutes that it just didn't feel, to me, like Emma at all. Like, she was Just Breathe, which is Emma's solo, is a song about how she's nervous about going up against these people at the PTA, talking about prom, and she's stressing out and she doesn't feel comfortable where she is, and she is smiling the whole way through the song, which feels completely ill-fitting. I felt like for the first half an hour she was just smiling through the whole thing, but like not in a kind of I'm just trying to put up with this kind of thing, just in a I'm genuinely happy kind of thing, and I didn't think that fit at all. I did think after that she understood the character and she got a lot better through it, if that makes sense. Like, I really like her voice, I thought her voice was great, and I felt especially in the second act that she really started to get into the kind of character that I think Emma is, and obviously she can portray it however she wants, but I'm just saying my personal opinion. But yeah, I think her second act was a lot stronger, and I'd really like to see her grow as an actress and see where she can take other things, to see if what she can do, really. But overall, I enjoyed it, you know. What can I say? And lastly, and kind of quickly, I'm going to talk about direction. So, Ryan Murphy directed. We all know Ryan Murphy. We all know he directed Glee. I hope he has, otherwise I'm just thinking of someone else. But I thought he did well. I think it was a feel-good film, and I would recommend you watch it and make your own judgments on it, because this is just my opinion. I'm not sure if I would watch it again, but I did like it. I have nothing against the film. I thought he did okay. There were a couple of things that I think he probably needed to think about. I needed to maybe not necessarily educate himself on, but for him to really understand, because some of these characters felt very clear cut, and like that they didn't really have a lot of depth to them. And obviously that has nothing to do with him. He's not writing the script, or at least I don't think he did. He should have seen that it wasn't the way things were going. It didn't set up the rest of the film in a way that you'd really want it to, if that makes sense. But I thought he did fine, and I know he's worked with, you know, gay, bisexual characters before, as he did with Glee, but, you know, I enjoyed it. Would I, you know, watch more of his stuff? Maybe. I think I would have to see what other stuff he would be producing in order for me to make judgments on whether I'd watch it. But, you know, I enjoyed the film. I would definitely recommend you go and watch it, and you can, you know, leave your opinions in the comments. I would really appreciate people not hating on my opinion. I'm not trying to hate on this film. Like I said, I enjoyed it. There were just small things that I felt didn't quite fit like the whole dynamic of the prom itself. But you know, I can't make you change your minds. This is just my opinion and I'm not trying to. But you know, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, you can like it. If you liked it, subscribe if you feel like it. Keep enjoying musicals as much as me, and I will see you in the next one.